When did you watch a legitimate emergency get downgraded to not mission critical? Summer deployment, middle of nowhere. Our unit was stationed at this forward operating base that had been thrown together fast. Plywood buildings, gravel roads, the bare minimum to function. I was working as a medic. Not glamorous, mostly treating sunburn and twisted ankles, but I knew what real problems looked like. Day 3, Private Everett stumbles into my aid station looking green. Kid's doubled over, clutching his stomach. Within 20 minutes, he's vomiting so hard I thought he'd crack a rib. What'd you eat? I asked. Nothing weird, just drank water from the tank this morning. That got my attention. Our water came from these massive storage tanks, supposed to be purified and tested, but Everett was exhibiting classic contamination symptoms. By noon, 6 more soldiers showed up. Same symptoms. Vomiting, severe cramps, fever. All of them had filled canteens from the main water tank that morning. I reported it to Sergeant Brennan immediately. We might have contaminated water. 7 cases in 4 hours, all from the same source. Brennan's eyes went wide. Are you sure? Confident enough that nobody should drink from that tank until we test it. He grabbed his radio, called it up to Captain Sutherland, explained the situation, medical emergency, possible water contamination, need immediate testing, and alternative water supply. 15 minutes later, Brennan came back looking confused. Captain says to monitor the situation. Testing will happen during next scheduled inspection. Next scheduled inspection is in 3 days. I said, we've got soldiers getting sick right now. I know, but he says we can't shut down the main water supply without confirmation. Would impact too many operations. Impact operations. 7 soldiers were puking their guts out, but paperwork and schedules mattered more. By evening, the count was up to 12. I had soldiers on IV fluids. Corporal Dalton was so dehydrated his lips were cracking. Another guy, Specialist Wade, couldn't keep anything down for 6 straight hours. I documented everything. Symptoms, timeline, common denominator. Built an airtight case. Took it straight to Captain Sutherland myself. Sir, we have a genuine emergency. 12 soldiers incapacitated. All drank from tank 7 between 0600 and 0800. Patterns too consistent to ignore. Sutherland barely looked up from his computer. Have any of them required medevac? Not yet, sir, but then it's not critical. We'll schedule testing when the contractor arrives Thursday. Thursday's 4 days away. More soldiers will get sick. He finally looked at me. Listen, if I shut down that water tank, I have to file an emergency maintenance request. That triggers a whole investigation. Impacts our readiness rating. Makes the man think we can't handle basic infrastructure. I just stared at him. Sir, with respect, soldiers are getting sick, and you're treating them. That's why we have medics. Put out some warnings. Tell people to use bottled water if they're concerned, but I'm not declaring an emergency over some upset stomachs. Walked out of there furious. Brennan was waiting outside. What did he say? Basically told me it's not mission critical unless someone's dying. Brennan cursed under his breath. So we just watch more people get sick? Not if I can help it. Went back to the aid station, called in a favor from a buddy at the engineering unit. Guy named Prescott who actually knew how water systems worked. He came over after dark with a testing kit. Not official, not authorized, but I needed to know what we were dealing with. Took samples from tank 7, ran the tests right there. Results came back 30 minutes later. You've got E. coli, Prescott said quietly. And not just a little. This water's seriously contaminated. How bad? Bad enough that anyone drinking it is playing Russian roulette with their intestines. Probably happened when they refilled the tank last week. Seal was compromised or something. Now I had proof. Took the test results straight back to Sutherland. Didn't even knock, just walked into his orders. Sir, tested the water, E. coli contamination. We need to shut down that tank immediately. He actually looked annoyed. Did you get authorization for that testing? No, sir, but the results speak for themselves. Unauthorized testing isn't valid. Could be equipment error, contaminated samples, anything. I can't act on unofficial data. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Sir, soldiers are getting sick from bacteria contaminated water. According to a test you ran without permission. For all I know, those soldiers have the flu. There's a virus going around. They all drank from the same tank within the same 2-hour window. Correlation isn't causation. I need official confirmation before I can declare an emergency. Thursday, when the contractor comes. Walked out before I said something career-ending. Brennan was still in the aid station when I got back. Looked at my face and knew immediately. He didn't buy it. Said my testing wasn't official. Wants to wait for Thursday. That's 3 more days of people getting poisoned. I know. By morning the count was 22 soldiers. Word had spread and guys were avoiding tank 7, but some hadn't gotten the message. Each new case made my blood boil. Specialist Wade ended up so dehydrated we had to call for actual medevac. Helicopter evacuation. The thing Sutherland said would make it critical. When the chopper arrived, Sutherland was suddenly very interested. Battalion command was asking questions. Why did we need emergency medevac for food poisoning? That's when Lieutenant Prescott, the engineering guy, did something beautiful. He'd sent my test results to the base safety officer. Bypassed Sutherland completely. Safety officer showed up 2 hours later with an inspection team. Shut down tank 7 immediately. Confirmed E. coli contamination. Traced it to a cracked seal that had been flagged in maintenance reports but never fixed. Sutherland tried to claim he'd been waiting for proper testing. Safety officer wasn't buying it. You had a medic reporting a potential outbreak. You had 12 sick soldiers in 1 day. You should have shut this down immediately as a precaution. Full investigation followed. Turned out Sutherland had been sitting on multiple maintenance requests to avoid looking bad to battalion. Tank 7 had been problematic for weeks. He got relieved of command. Transferred to some desk job processing paperwork. Exactly the kind of bureaucrat work he'd been protecting. Wade recovered fully. Spent 2 days in a hospital but came back fine. The other 21 soldiers recovered without medevac. But here's the kicker. After the investigation wrapped up, I got called to battalion headquarters. Thought I was in trouble for the unauthorized testing. Instead, the battalion commander pinned a commendation medal on my chest. Said I'd shown initiative in protecting soldier welfare when my chain of command failed. Prescott got one too. For going outside channels to report a legitimate safety hazard. Best part, the new policy that came down after the investigation. Any medic reporting 3 or more cases of similar symptoms from a common source now has authority to shut down that source immediately. No captain's approval needed. They call it the Wade protocol, named after the specialist who almost died because upset stomachs weren't mission critical.